Ambition and desire for vengeance, defeating reason, is the defining factor of destruction. Two works that convey this idea are the 1810 Gothic horror novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley and the 1948 noir film Drunken Angel by Akira Kurosawa. Both of these works involve a central character being given multiple chances to give up their ambition. The choice in both movies would allow the central character to escape the tragic course they're headed on. But in both works, the central character is blinded by their ambition, and the outcome is disastrous and tragic. We can use both of these works, and by comparing them, see what each author/director says about blind ambition. In Frankenstein, the tragic character is Victor Frankenstein. Victor creates a creature which, through societal rejection, becomes a monster, seeking revenge against Victor by systematically killing his entire family, either through direct murder or indirectly, such as killing his father from sheer grief. But Victor couldn't have done anything to prevent this tragedy, right? Actually, Victor is almost entirely responsible for the tragedy of the novel. He is given every opportunity to tell someone about the creature, but doesn't, leading to further tragedy. For example, on the night of his wedding, Victor refuses to tell his wife about the creature, even though before the creature had already threatened his wife. Victor, however, assumed the threat was against him out of arrogance. Victor leaves his wife alone in search of the creature, and because of this, Elizabeth was murdered by the creature. If he had warned his wife beforehand, she would likely have lived. This shows Mary Shelley's critique of blind ambition and how it leads to tragedy. Now, let's look at Akira Kurosawa's Drunken Angel. In this movie, Toshiro Mifune plays a character named Matsunaga, a Yakuza boss who catches tuberculosis. While his doctor constantly and violently tells him to stop drinking and partying, Matsunaga, out of arrogance, never listens, until, while partying and gambling, Matsunaga coughs up blood and ends up sickly and bedridden. One would assume this is where the tragedy ends, but when his former boss, Takahama, attempts to have him removed from power, Matsunaga, instead of leaving his old life behind, attempts to get revenge, but ends up getting into a fight, and because of his sickness, is beaten and killed. The end of the film shows his doctor and close friend grieving for him. This primarily shows Kurosawa's critique of ambition and attempted vengeance by depicting how it negatively affects others. Notice a pattern? In both of these pieces of media, a character ignores constant opportunities to change for the better out of ambition. Both Victor and Matsunaga have a rival formed from the former's ambition and an attempt at a climactic battle which does not go in a way the protagonist thinks it would go. One key difference is that the primary tragedy in Frankenstein is how the deaths of others affect Victor, while the tragedy of Drunken Angel is how Matsunaga's death affects others. However, comparing the two pieces of media shows how both use critique of vengeance and ambition to tell an engaging and tragic story.